All right, y'all, we're taking a look at this boudoir photography business today. Gonna see if it has BSS for these two Google searches. So we're back here at GBC Universe. We all know this. We're taking disappearing boudoir photographers to the #1 boudoir photographer in their city. As always, our North Star here is FSIC, full spectrum intent capture. More on that in pinned video, home video, somewhere on this profile. And care about FSIC because FSIC explains why all boudoir photographers either rise or fall. So we got our intent spectrum here in white. Highest intent people on the left. Those are people searching, boudoir photo shoot in my city, searching that in social search and Google search. And over on the right, the lowest intent people, they ain't searching for boudoir right now, and basically all of them don't even know what boudoir is. So those are, reach those people. Interruption ads via Facebook, Instagram, things like that. So we're here on the left talking about BSS with the highest intent peeps here in this brand, and our sister brand, Boudoir FB Ad Doctor, is way over on the right. It talks about BLCS, and with that one, we're only currently on work with boudoir photographers spending more than 10 grand a month on boudoir Facebook ads. So BSS, boudoir search sameness. This means a boudoir photographer has either 0 or 1 slots on page 1 of Google. 0 slots, terrible, because we know that approximately 80% of Google searches never even reach page 2. People, it's page 1 search and done. So we got to be on page 1. And 1 slot, no bueno either, because guess what? That means none of the boudoir photographers, 1 slot for each one. A buyer, we're not standing out at all. A buyer is simply going to click down, all 10, contact all 10, get price growth from all 10, negotiate, bring the price down, basically like suck out all that margin. And, we're going to be price shopped to death. So we cannot have this with our boudoir photography business. Now, even though 0 1 slots is bad, well, terrible actually for the business, it's extremely common, but it's not normal. So it's accepted, but it's not normal. And it's actually the symptom of 2 deeper root causes. And those 2 deeper root causes are market saturation and the false belief of page 1 equality. Market saturation, as people get new gear, new phone, new camera, throwing up their Google Maps profile, throwing up their website, posting in mom's group saying they do boudoir. So more sellers say member buyers, makes it harder for each seller. And then the false belief of page 1 equality. That's what boudoir photographers literally assuming, kind of every boudoir photographer gets like 0 1 slots on page 1 on Google. And, if they're on slot 8 on page 1, and some new boudoir photographers enter the market and they, their website got pushed onto page 2, which now we know is basically death, invisible. Then, people just simply kind of accept it, be like, yeah, that's how it is. But it's a false belief because I was able to go from 0 out of 10 slots on page 1 of Google to 9 out of 10 slots page 1 on Google with in only 10 days with this new strategy we developed, this new methodology. And so we know the false belief of page 1 quality is now false because we know that Google will actually give us as many page 1 slots as we want to put in the effort to acquire. And we also know that boudoir photographer with boudoir search sameness is a disappearing boudoir photographer. Yeah, because we got 0 1 slots on page 1 of Google. We're either invisible to approximately 80% searches if we're on page 2 or deeper, or we're getting price shopped to death if we only got 1 slot on page 1. And this disappearing boudoir photographer, dude, that's literally the canary in the coal mine, kind of the warning light flashing on our dashboard, where once that happens, eventually, the boudoir photography business is on a path of disappearing as well. But luckily we got a solution because we now know that BSS is treated with social search saturation, aka S-cubed methodology. And with S-cubed methodology, it works exactly like the name says. We saturate social search with the highest intent keywords, highest intent buyer keywords in our city. And when we do that, that's kind of seeding what we're trying to do. It's kind of like the backside of the Andes Mountains where, the snow is melting. You got some small streams, small rivers, and then those all flow into the large Amazon River. And large Amazon River is page 1 of Google. And so we gotta start off strong with saturating social search though. So that get us on page 1 of Google. But the benefit is we're saturating social search, which means we're saturating page one of social search across all the social networks. Buyers are searching the highest, Boudoir buyers are searching the high intent buyer keywords there. So we're saturating literally 5 different kind of surfaces by utilizing SQL methodology. And this is the only strategy I've seen that actually allows Boudoir photographers to maintain the business even in the face of market saturation and grow the business even in the face of market saturation in a relatively quick time frame to get these results page one on Google, which helps do all that. And the only other second option I've ever seen enable a business to grow in the face of massive market saturation is having a massive, strong brand. But dude, those take like 5 to 10 years to build. We ain't got 5 to 10 years because we're in AI, and AI is literally taking people's jobs. And so we ain't got time to build it, but we ain't got 5 to 10 years. So we got to be using SQ's methodology. And when we do that, it's the highest chance our business will grow. And my estimate is it'll actually help build a brand 8x faster than normal, if executed every single day. So it's kind of like an accelerator to build a brand as well. So example for market saturation, imagine if we're in, let's say, Indianapolis, Indiana. There's 1 million boudoir photographers, and we're one of them. Everyone's got a website saying they do boudoir. And we're like, all right, our only chance to compete here is if we crank up SQ methodology to the max, as many page one slots across social search and Google search as we can. So if we do that, we rank for the first 300 slots for all the highest intent keywords for boudoir buyers in our city. And as a result, we actually, those flow, and let's say we get the first 300 slots on Google, which is extremely difficult to do. Let's say we accomplish that. So anytime boudoir buyers looking anywhere on social search or Google search for boudoir photo shoot in their city, then they basically only see us, even though there's literally 1 million competitors. And as a result, whose business is still growing in this market of 1 million boudoir photographers? Ours. And whose businesses is failing and disappearing? All the other 999,999 competitors, because we're taking up the highest intent Google search, closest to the money, highest conversion rate. So yeah, this is why the SQ methodology is so magical. Now, one trait with SQ methodology, we have page one visibility. We're kicking, our initial benefit is we have more slots page one on Google. Our second initial benefit is we're kicking competing boudoir photographers off page one, effectively making them invisible. Yeah, so now that we know approximately 80% of Google searches never even hit page two, or page one and done Google searches, we can make people, invisible to approximately 80% of the market by literally just kicking them off from page one to page two and making them disappear in boudoir photographers. And page one visibility activates boudoir search visibility for us. So this is where we have our GBC recommended minimum of hitting 3 out of 10 slots page one of Google. Because when we can do that, we're definitely looking way better than everyone else who's probably going to have only 1 slot. And also, the people, there's a very, very rare chance that someone will have 2 slots in the same search as us. So if we got 3 slots, we're dominating everyone. And a boudoir photographer with boudoir search visibility is a visible boudoir photographer. So this is our micro universe here. We got a disappearing boudoir photographer with BSS. It's caused by the dual horns of market saturation and page one equality, or the false belief, page one equality. We now have the solution S cubed methodology would become a visible boudoir photographer with boudoir search visibility. And that's caused by us finally achieving page one visibility on our own. Now, I'm going to look at my results here from utilizing SQ methodology. I wanted to rank for this keyword VLCS boudoir and take as many page one slots as Google as possible. So in 10 days, I went from 0 out of 10 slots on page one of Google to, we'll count through how many now. So organic slot 1, Instagram, me. slot 2 me, slot 3 me, slot 4 me, slot 5 me, slot 6 me, slot 7 me, slot 8 me, and slot 10 me. So I'm from 0 out of 10 slots to 9 out of 10 slots, page one on Google in 10 days. So we're proving the false belief of page one inequality as exactly that, a false belief, because now we know Google actually give us as many page one slots on Google search as we want, or as we want to put in the effort to acquire. And Google PPC ain't doing that. Max, they're giving us is one, I believe, one extra slot on page one, even if, you know, there's extra inventory available. We're only getting one extra slot. And the momentum of those ads dies. That real estate dies once we stop paying for ads. SQ methodology has momentum to it. Not infinite momentum, but it has momentum to it where there's persistence of its existence. So we're not going to say if this boudoir photography business has BSS, yes or no, for these two Google searches. So let's see. Boom. All right. Santa Clara, San Jose. All right, right here. So Santa Clara. All right, so let's see. We got one out of 10. And that. And, well, we got 1 out of 10. I mean, we got the Google, but we don't count that as Google, the 10 organic slots. So we got 1 out of 10. Dang. Yeah, no, I know actually Santa Clara is right in the middle of San Jose, so that actually makes sense. More kind of keyword overlap competing for these slots. So yeah, dude, we got BSS here with well search sameness. Let's simply look at the 10 organic slots. Now let's also look at San Jose. All right, so we got 1 out of 10. We got, all right, we got 1 out of 10 again. So we got BSS. All right, so we got BSS for both searches. We're at 1 out of 10 for both. And so, yeah, we got BSS, and also we did not hit the GBC recommended minimum of 3 out of 10 page one slots to really get that boudoir search visibility. So if you're a disappearing boudoir photographer and you've done your local search, your city search for the highest intent boudoir buyer keywords in your city or in your area, and you've had BSS for one of them or both of them, or you did not reach the GBC recommended minimum of at least one of them, of 3 out of 10 slots, page one on Google, and you're seeing the false belief of page one equality is exactly that, a false belief. So you're seeing, hey, we can actually take as many page one slots on Google as we want, and it doesn't require Google ads, which at max, so Google PPC will give 1 slot on page one. And you stop paying for that, the momentum dies. But with this SQ methodology, there is some persistent momentum using the strategy. It's not infinite, but there's definitely way more momentum than running ads where the momentum dies instantly. So you see in SQ methodology is the way forward, the solution you've actually been looking for, but you didn't know existed. You're liking the initial benefits, more slots page one on Google, organic, some momentum there. You actually like even better kicking competing boudoir photographers off page one on Google, making them be the disappearing boudoir photographers. So maybe they simply leave the market and stop competing against you, and you stop getting price shopped against them. Lowering the number of peeps we're price shopped against. You understand how market saturation works. Yeah, new gear, new peeps coming in, kind of natural, trickle in. But you're also looking ahead and you're seeing, man, AI is going to be is already taking people's jobs. It's going to be taking more and more people's jobs, which is actually going to flood the market way more than people getting new gear. It's going to flood the market with peeps. Actually, people need to earn money. So they lose their job, but they still got to earn money. Way more boudoir photographers coming from AI taking peeps' jobs. And as a result, you're like, all right, you like those two first initial benefits, but now you need kind of a a short-term or short in the future benefit. And as a result, you're looking for, you're realizing you need to kind of fortify all your slots on page one. I actually have so many overflowing links that Google wants to have on page one, but you're already taking up so many slots on page one, Google literally cannot place them there. Like so many backup links, kind of like fortifying the levees down in Nolens, Louisiana, because that city's below sea level. And literally prevent current boudoir photographers from ever ranking on page one, and also hopefully preventing any future boudoir photographers that come from AI taking their jobs from ever ranking page one on Google. Keep them on page two or deeper, relegate them to perpetually disappear in boudoir photographer status, perpetually invisible to approximately 80% of buyers. So you're liking all those benefits, and you want to achieve page one visibility, become a visible boudoir photographer with boudoir search visibility, because you need to achieve these things on your path to becoming the #1 boudoir photographer in your city. And you also think more ahead of AI stuff, and you're understanding that SQ methodology is actually creating kind of these invisible thematic keyword columns connected to your brand, kind of out of cyberspace, kind of invisible out there. Like columns of the Parthenon, or hub and spoke model of a bike tire, or your business, your brand, your website name. That's all kind of the hub where all the spokes meet. All these invisible thematic keyword columns are the spokes sticking out. And this actually, you understand that this is actually building AI mindshare in the back end. And when we build this up every single day, successfully executing SQ methodology, we're actually increasing the probability that we get shown up right here, AI overview, super premium slot. We cannot even buy this with advertising. So it's organic from Google. This is probably better than any ad out there, honestly. It's kind of like it's like a super stamp of approval from Google. And you're seeing kind of every time actually SQ methodology, we're adding to the invisible thematic keyword column we're focusing on, or building a new one, kind of building up this back-end AI brain space momentum. And you're liking that for the AI overview. And also you understand that this will happen for the AI search apps. So ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, Microsoft Copilot, Google Gemini. Every day we successfully execute SQ methodology, we're increasing the probability of these AI search queries surface us. And guess what? We are, Google is still approximately 90% of global search, but dude, AI search is growing every single day, literally every single day, as people ditch standard search more and more. And last time I did a boudoir search for boudoir photographers in a city, ChatGPT, dude, it brought up 3, literally 3. But I went, Google, Facebook searching, and I manually for how many boudoir photographers are actually in this city. Dude, it was like 60. So I'm like, dude, we gotta get at least one of these 3 slots by any means possible. And now we've learned, okay, SQ methodology is the way to achieve that. And you're also seeing my current plan is to only work with one boudoir photographer per city. So you're seeing, man, signing on, work with me on this. You are actually excluding all your other boudoir photographer competitors from using this strategy for as long as you keep using it with me. And so you like the sound of that, you can kick off your competitors, relegate them to, disappear boudoir photographer status on Google page 2 or deeper, essentially have a strong case to prevent any peeps that have lost their job to AI from ever being seen on page 1 on Google. Like the aspect of building brand approximately 8x faster. So then, then kind of everyone else is done, because we're showing up on so many surfaces all at once and continuously doing it. And you actually want to be able to have super well-known brands and continue using SQ methodology as like the ultimate superpower. And on the flip side of the converse, you're seeing one of your boudoir photographer competitors signs on with me first, then we're actually getting all those benefits for them and not for you. And then page 1 on Google kicking you off, page 2 or deeper, you're effectively becoming invisible to approximately 80% of buyers in your city that are page 1 searchers only. And you're losing those slots, getting forgotten about. And also we're building up this AI mindshare momentum on the back end for the AI overview and recommendation for AI searches. So in order for you to compete, you'd have to A, rederive SQ methodology, or actually derive it in the first place for yourself. B, you'd have to successfully execute it equivalent to us every single day. But if you did that, you'd simply maintain the gap that we've already built ahead of you and honestly make no forward progress. So you'd actually have to outwork us 2 to 3x every single day to regain momentum on us, pull that AI mindshare towards us, towards you, away from you and your competitor. Kind of be for us to be recommended for AI search or AI overview and AI search apps. And you probably would not feel 100% confident putting in that much effort, because you would never know if you've even derived SQ methodology correctly in the first place. So then you'd be like, why even put effort into it? And also that'd probably be like 80 hours per day. So you're seeing all that and you're like, screw that. I've decided to be the first mover in the city. I've decided to hop on SQ methodology first out of all of my peeps. And so if that's you, shoot me a DM when my DM's open for new patient intake. The hospital is currently closed, but when we do open the hospital for new patient intake, shoot us a DM and we will see if you qualify for using our S cubed methodology.